This is absolutely Essendon. It's our match review. It's going to look a little bit different today. We're not both in the absolutely Essendon headquarters. One of us is on the other side of the country. DT, what's happening? What are you doing over there?
Well, I'm not sure whether this signal's going to make it through all the way from Perth, Western Australia.
Right.
They use courier pigeons for this sort of stuff over here. So hopefully we won't have any problems. But yes, I'm over in Perth.
Were you part of the media contingent?
You
embedded?
Yes, in the so it's sort of like the docudrama reality show will be coming out soon of my time in the Essendon change room. So no, in Perth, and I've got to say it's an experience, not something I'd recommend to everybody, not for the faint of heart.
Was it like a cauldron-like atmosphere at the ground for visitors?
Look, you know what? It was actually really dull, and this is the thing. I feel for these West Coasts and Fremantle fans because they get no atmosphere. You know,
like the moon.
It's a one team in the ground sort of situation, so they were getting beaten. So it was very quiet, you know. But I got to tell you though, I don't know if you've ever seen that film One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Have you seen that? About the sane guy in an asylum full of loonies.
The famous
that was
Jack
me.
Nicholson. Yes,
that was me. I've never seen so many nuffies in all my life. I swear to God. It's like football's a strange new sport for these people. Every time someone marked the ball, they'd scream 50, you know? Anyway, so, well, not only that, afterwards, we went across to the Burswood Casino, which is right next to Optus Stadium here. I mean, if two maximum security prisons had a baby, they'd call it Burswood Casino. Walked in there, and the first thing the first guy says to us is, "What's that shit you're wearing around your neck?" Because myself and 8 others had an Essendon scarf on, so we were greeted with, charm and grace and dignity from the locals. Not an experience I care to have ever again in my life.
Oh, that sounds like standard hospitality. You got to understand what you're walking into there.
Sure, yeah, into a hive of moronity.
Right. Okay. So no vibe there at the casino. Well,
no,
I heard they did a fancy fit out. No, nothing good.
It's a nice fit out if you like sort of faux baroque or whatever it is they call it over here. I don't know. I mean, it's like Franco Cozzo's last great furnishing appointment.
Yeah, like Liberace did the design work.
Liberace was the maitre d' in the restaurant, the Italian Mondo Mio.
Right,
which served a very nice pork Milanese. Yeah, it went nowhere near pork. It was more like rodent Milanese. But anyway, enough of that.
Right. Okay. So anyway, what about the game? It was a very workmanlike win. We kind of in our preview suggested that maybe it would pan out in the way that it did, even though, secretly we were probably all hoping for that 120-point victory, but it didn't pan out that way.
No, it certainly didn't. And there was just a couple of moments there when you started to get that tingle in the testicles, is it going to be one of those days? And, I had it. Yeah, I think we all did. There was a lot of Essendon fans with their hands in their pockets. The Eagles, to their credit, came out and played a pretty ferocious first half. I was quite impressed. I thought they were the cleaner team of the two in terms of their ball handling. Another reference to ball handling there. And, they were good. And I thought we were a little bit off and, just a bit sloppy in the first half. Got it going a bit more in the second half. And in the end, it was a comfortable win. And that's I think this is what we're not quite used to as Bomber fans, is actually winning ugly. We used to just lose ugly. Yeah. So, it was one of those games where the margin probably flattered the performance a little bit. Yeah. But in the end, job done.
Yeah. Yeah. And incredibly grateful for the win. But that first half, if the Eagles had kicked a little straighter, it would have been a much closer margin. And then the pressure would have been on. But yes, I sense that this team under this coach has a bit more structure about it, and they just don't fall apart so quickly. So we're all waiting for the pylon to happen in the third quarter. Yeah. Last quarter, it didn't happen, but we'll still take a 50.
Yeah, and I think we won each quarter by 2 goals, and that was your 8-goal margin at the end of the game. So Brad Scott, he even said after the game in the press conference, it's not a replay that you would watch for fun. And that pretty much sums up the game. So,
that
look,
sums up football.
We're still missing a lot of players. This is the thing. These Eagles are injured. They had a lot of injuries, but they had a lot of good players back this week. And, we're still with that Setterfield, Shield, Parrish, obviously Peter Wright. So, the Bombers are still a work in progress. So I think you can take a win like that and be very happy with it, to be honest with you.
Yeah. The Eagles looked very different to their game last week in Tasmania against the Hawks. And again, as we kind of expected. That pretty much played out as planned. So, some good performances there in and amongst the team. So heartening.
Yeah, there was. I mean, I thought Nick Martin played a great game on his return to Perth.
Really
He was on the Eagles list.
Yeah. Is that because he was back home? Do you think he just enjoyed being back home?
Oh, I'm sure there's some motivation. His friends and family came out to watch him play. And, I mean, whoever's the list manager down at that basket case of a club, if he's still working for letting go of a guy like Nick Martin, I mean, that is the most extraordinary, dropped catch in AFL recruiting in the last 5 years. I mean, Nick Martin, I tell you, if that guy doesn't go close to winning a Brownlow sometime, I'd be surprised. He's a fantastic player. Fantastic player.
Big statement.
No, huge statement.
Huge.
I mean, that another 8 other Essendon players fall into that category, right? Am I right?
Yeah,
I'm right.
No, mate, you're right on the money.
It was great. I thought, Mason Redmond, he's covered more territory than Burke and Wills, that guy.
Right.
I mean, his metres gained is about halfway to the moon right now. He must be averaging over 500 metres gained per game. If he's not an All-Australian by the end of this year, there's something wrong with the selection panel. There always is something wrong with those people. But, he's definitely an All-Australian candidate at the moment.
Every week he just creeps forward just a little further. And in this game, he went down to full forward there for a bit.
Yeah, he'll be outside the ground at some stage if he keeps doing that. He's going that far forward. And even, I think it was Ridley or someone at the end of the game was asked, what did you think about Redmond being down in the forward pocket kicking goals? He goes, what's happening there? He's sneaking forward all the time, this guy. But, good on him. He must be the highest goal-scoring halfback flanker in the competition this year.
Yeah, it's lovely to see. Now, speaking of Brownlows, do you think with merit that tackle that he was the alleged sling tackle that he did time for, will that cost him a Brownlow?
Yeah, well, look, that would be a tragedy, wouldn't it? Because he's got to be right up there at the moment, and if he's not already in the top 5 for the Brownlow, I'd be surprised.
I don't know what the market is. We might be a tad biased, but come on.
I think. I mean, he's legitimately in a lot of the awards, the media awards and coaches' votes and all that stuff. So I mean, he can't win it because of that ridiculous decision. I mean, so moments like that where you've got to go back to the AFL and go, how do you feel now? You're happy with that, right?
Yeah, you're happy.
So no, I mean, he was great. He's just having an incredible year. I think the captaincy's done so much for him.
Yeah,
and
Heppel continues to contribute. Come on.
Yeah, Heppel, the old timer, the old man. He was good again. I got to say, we've really got a lot of retracting to do in our thoughts on Dyson earlier in the season. He's proven us absolutely wrong. And he continues to be a pretty solid performer in the side. So, good on him.
Yeah, and I was in terms of goal kickers, it was just nice to see the likes of Hobbs kick a couple.
Schnelling, your famous German footballer.
Schnelling, that's right. Menzies chipped in as well.
Yeah.
Langford obviously always looks good down there. He looks great down there.
So let me ask you, and I don't like bringing this subject up because you know my feelings on it, but we've got to talk about Walla just quickly before we wrap up. What did you think?
Yeah, it seemed to be just a little behind the pace car there. And maybe others would say I'm being too diplomatic. Is a lot behind the pace car, but lining up for that goal, he normally gets those blindfolded, doesn't he? That's sort of reflected, unfortunately. I think where he's at. I don't know what they do. What do you think they should do?
Well, I think we would keep going with him. I think the buy is coming up soon. I would persist. We're winning. We're not losing. He can only get fitter and perhaps find his form a little bit more as each week passes. I really wouldn't want to see him running around in the VFL. I don't think that's going to help his game that much.
Oh, really?
But if we can carry him, I would keep doing it, to be honest, because if he does come good, he could be a vital component to our team at the end of the season, when who knows, we might even be playing finals football. So yeah, I'd like to see him persisted with.
Is it finding his mojo or fitness or both?
Yeah, he's still carrying a lot of extra weight. I think it's fitness. I think fitness is the first thing he's got to get right, and then the touch will come. You know, you don't lose your class. That'll come back. So yeah, he just, and it's confidence too, isn't it? You know, it's just not working for him. And you can see the guy in the field just not scratching his head, but he's kind of mentally going, what the hell's going wrong here? I mean, it used to be so easy for him. But I think he's just got to be worth persisting with, right? Why do this experiment if you're just going to throw him in the VFL? It doesn't work for anybody.
Yeah, fair point. All right, well, I think that's a good wrap of the game. What's in store for the rest of this junket over in Perth?
Yeah, well, I just can't get out quick enough, to be honest. We're waiting for the Pony Express to get over here so we can jump back on and head across the Nullarbor back to civilization.
Don't you have a bit of history in Perth?
Yeah, grew up here. That's mental scars. Man, I went back to the old school, actually, just as a side note.
Any of the old teachers there?
Yeah, there was just one. And so he's been there. In fact, he went to school with me, so he's been a teacher at the school ever since. Right. And I caught up with him briefly, and he wanted to take me into the back room and cane me, just for old time's sake. But maybe it wasn't for old time's sake.
Because you had it coming?
Probably. You could imagine. You could imagine. No, I'll be back soon in the studios with you. And
please. It's lonely. It's very lonely.
The big game against North, I think it is this week. So
it is.
Hopefully we can look forward to another good result in that one.
That would be nice. We need to bank them. All right. Thank you.
Okay.
For watching. You come back.
My pleasure. Is there a bit of a time lag?
Yes, we're losing the satellite. Okay. Satellite's going. It's going. Gone. Thanks for watching.